Hi, I'm Scott from Tamarack Shack Antiques and Heckman Auction, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the anatomy or nomenclature of a pocket watch. First thing we'll talk about with the pocket watch is called a bow. And the bow is this loop here that holds the pocket watch chain. And there's a couple different styles of bows. Here's on a railroad style pocket watch, and that's a little bit different. And the second part is called a crown. Some people might call it a winder, but this is a crown, and what you do is you turn it and you can wind the pocket watch for certain types of watches, and also possibly set it depending on the type of watch again. This part here, all this center part is called a pendant. And all the pocket watches that we're looking at here are open-face pocket watches. So we won't be talking about any watches that are hunter's case. Another part on a watch, next part, is called the dial. And the dial is, well, people would call it a face, but in the pocket watch world it's called a dial. Usually pocket watches have white dials with bold numbers, especially that's a very common style. So you can read the numbers very easily. And they were white because if it was dark, you could still kind of see them. So in other words, like at dusk or dawn without a light. Also, this piece here that holds the covering is called a bezel. So this part here called a bezel. And as you can see, there's a couple different types of bezels. You know, this one's a coin silver bezel. This one's a gold-filled type of bezel. And it holds the crystal. And the crystal can be plastic. This piece here can be plastic, or it can be glass, just like here. Glass pocket watch, crystal. So, of course, you have the hands and the numerals, and they can vary. The numbers can vary, and also the different types of markers can vary. Coming around to the back, well, the back is called the back, simply. When you take a look inside this back, it'll be marked usually like what the content is and who made it. And there's a couple different types of backs as well. Now this watch, the entire part here, this entire silver part, round part, some people might call that the works. It's actually called a movement. And on a movement, there'll be words like, for example, the maker of this is an Elgin. And then they have a serial number and how many jewels are in it. And that we'll talk about that in just a bit. But this spinning wheel here, if you have a running pocket watch, it'll spin back and forth like that up to, I believe, 1 million times a year. And that's called the balance wheel. So that's what allows the power to go one click at a time. So you hear that tick, 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 and that's what this is doing in simple sense. There's a couple other things involved with that. So you've got the movement, you've got the balance, and then these red pieces here are called jewels. So you see them there. And they hold pivots, and they also hold pinions in place for all the wheels in a pocket watch. And why do they use jewels? Well, they used to use like rubies, or they went to synthetic rubies, and it's because it won't wear on the metal as easily. So that's why they have that, and the higher jeweled the watch, usually the better. So when you have that, you can see that. Okay, now on to something more there's different types of setting with a watch. And you saw that this can be wound like this, but it also can be set with the pendant. You pull up the crown and you turn the hands. Pretty simple. It's pretty standard for most watches still today, except digital watches, although kind of try to do that or they'll have a push button type. But on a lot of the railroad grade watches, like for example, this is a classic railroad grade watch. It's a Hamilton 992. And this is what they call a lever set. So some people bring it in and they'll say, how come I can't set the hands? And sometimes they'll have a really nice watch and they don't realize there's this little thing called a lever, and you can kind of see it there. And you have to pull this lever out with a thumbnail. Hope it stays there. And then you turn the hands and you can set the time. The reason they did that with a lot of watches was because let's just say you have it in your pocket and it gets bumped and it goes into the setting position for a normal watch. It could turn the hands on you and you would maybe the time would be adjusted by 10 or 15 minutes. For railroad standards, they always had lever set watches, so you had to just wind your watch. For example, this watch here would probably keep time for 30 days straight to within 20 seconds. And all you'd have to do is wind it in the morning and wind it at night, and it would just keep running. You would never have to set it. And that was the purpose of that. So you have the lever set, you have the stem set. And I hope you enjoyed the video. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of watches and a lot of watch parts on TamarackShackAntiques.com. Also, we do auctions for watches, and that is on HeckmanAuction.com. We'll give you some of those sites later on. We thank you for watching, and have a great day.